Of course. Here's a complete and very different rewrite of the plot you provided, keeping a tight logical structure while hitting approximately 6,000 characters. I'll develop it into a smooth, novel-like narrative style while maintaining your key ideas but changing the flow, details, and emotional build-up for originality. The stillness of Michael Corinthos' hospital room was broken by the sudden shrill of his phone. Startled, Michael fumbled to answer, his body still weak from recovery. A familiar voice spoke on the other end, inquiring about his condition, exchanging pleasantries that only scratched the surface of what Michael was truly concerned about. Then, with a tone that shifted to something more probing, the caller asked an unexpected question. Why had Willow come to the hospital to visit Michael, only to leave without seeing him? The words hit Michael harder than any injury could. Confusion gripped him. Willow had been here? He hadn't been told. No one mentioned anything. His heart pounding with unease, Michael ended the call abruptly, pushing himself to sit upright despite the protest of his muscles. He needed answers, now. Dragging himself down the sterile hallway, Michael approached the front reception desk. The woman stationed there today offered him a polite, professional smile. Was anyone here to see me yesterday? Michael asked, trying to keep his voice even. The receptionist glanced at the logbook, then shook her head apologetically. I'm sorry, Mr. Corinthos. I wasn't on duty yesterday. Let me check who was. But the search led nowhere. The previous shift had ended, and the staff member responsible was unreachable for now. Michael returned to his room, his mind a whirlwind. He couldn't shake the gnawing feeling that someone was hiding something from him. That someone had orchestrated this. Unable to contain his growing suspicion, Michael began calling every member of his family. One by one, he pressed them for information. Had they been involved in turning Willow away? Had anyone interfered with his visitors? Each conversation only added to his frustration. Everyone denied knowledge of anything unusual. Everyone, that is, except for one person, Drew Kane. Michael knew Drew too well to dismiss him easily. Drew had been circling around him and Willow lately with too much interest, offering advice that felt more like veiled manipulation. Michael's instincts screamed that Drew had something to do with this, but he needed proof. He didn't have to wait long. The next day, the missing receptionist returned to work. Michael wasted no time confronting her. His demeanor, once patient and gentle, was now edged with cold determination. At first, the receptionist feigned ignorance, avoiding his gaze and giving rehearsed answers. But Michael was relentless. His voice dropped lower, sharper, each word a warning. Finally, under the pressure of his intensity, she cracked. With shaking hands, she confessed, a man had approached her, offering a thick envelope of cash. Her job was simple. If a woman named Willow Tate showed up, she was to discreetly redirect her, making sure Michael never knew she had been there. Michael's blood turned cold. "Who?" he demanded. The receptionist could only describe the man vaguely: tall, confident, familiar to the hospital. But Michael didn't need a full description. In his gut, he already knew. Without another word, he stormed out of the hospital, a fresh fury burning through the remnants of his injuries. Every step he took toward the Corinthos mansion was fueled by betrayal and heartbreak. How could Drew, someone he trusted, plot to drive a wedge between him and Willow, especially when Michael was vulnerable and confined to a hospital bed? He found them easily enough. Willow and Drew were in the garden, the air around them thick with awkward tension the moment they spotted Michael approaching. Willow looked worried, Drew looked defensive. Michael didn't hesitate. "You did this," Michael growled, voice shaking with rage. "You paid someone to keep Willow away from me." Willow's gasp was sharp and wounded, her hand flying to her mouth. Drew's face hardened into a mask of indifference, refusing to admit or deny the accusation. "You used my condition," Michael continued, stepping closer, his fists clenching. "You manipulated everyone, made me think I was paranoid, made Willow think I didn't want to see her." Drew opened his mouth, perhaps to offer some hollow justification, but Michael wasn't interested. Years of loyalty, brotherhood, and shared battles meant nothing in that moment. The first punch landed squarely across Drew's jaw. A sickening crunch echoed in the still afternoon air as Drew stumbled backward, blood spraying from his split lip. Willow cried out, rushing forward to intervene, but Michael was beyond reason. Fury fueled his battered body as he lunged again, striking Drew with the full force of betrayal and heartbreak. Drew tried to defend himself, tried to parry the blows, but Michael was faster, driven by a pain far deeper than any physical wound. Drew collapsed to the ground under the onslaught, shielding his face as Michael hovered above him, breathing hard, fists trembling. "Stay away from her," Michael spat, the words like venom. "Stay away from me." Tears blurred Willow's vision as she struggled to pull Michael back, pleading with him to stop, to come to his senses. She had never seen him like this, so broken, so furious, so devastated. It took everything in Michael to finally step away, his chest heaving, blood pounding in his ears. He didn't spare Drew another glance. Instead, he turned to Willow, his voice low but urgent. "I fought for us," he said. "I would have fought through anything, but the real enemy was standing right next to me the whole time." Willow, stunned and trembling, could only nod. Words failed her as Michael walked away, each step a declaration that some betrayals could never be forgiven. And somewhere, in the shattered remains of what had once been family, trust lay bleeding alongside Drew on the cold, unforgiving ground. Would you also like me to write a second alternate version with slightly different developments? For example, making Drew try to justify his actions before the fight escalates even more brutally? Fire. It could make the drama even deeper depending on what you're aiming for.